Morjesta and welcome to Finnish Black Metal Time with Sielunvihollinen, which is actually another name for the devil. Sielunvihollinen literally means the enemy of the soul, and Helvetinkone, the album in question, means hell machine. Maybe a little bit weird as a name, but once you start listening to the lyrics and all that stuff, it kind of starts making sense. However, listening to the lyrics kind of requires you to understand Finnish language to begin with, so not an easy task for people of foreign countries. Now, what you need to know is that I became a Sielunvihollinen fan already quite a few years ago when I got their album, I think number 3, for review, and I like this. Now, most melodic black metal bands don't really do the trick for me. They're either way too cheesy or then they just seem to lack, in my perspective anyway, the kind of good melodies. I'm talking about dissection level, genius stuff, where the melodies are both evil and catchy at the same time, and they make you feel like this one is a banger. Luckily, I'm happy to say Sielunvihollinen is back with another great album. There were some EPs or splits before which were not exactly reaching the heights. I mean, good, but not great. But now Helvetinkone is back to greatness, and I'm happy to talk about it because indeed it's one of my favorite albums of the year, one of my favorite Finnish bands these days. Now we look back to Sielunvihollinen's past. It's kind of obvious the band has been there for more than 10 years now, and it's been very active with the albums. I mean, 2015, the debut, 2 years later, the second album, another 2 years later, another album, another 2 years later, and here we are with Helvetinkone, the album number 5. And there are splits and EPs, even live album, between these full albums, but every 2 years there has been a Sielunvihollinen album, and it seems like the pace is not going to slow down. So what I'm already wishing for is another great album in 2025. But it's a little bit early to talk about that when we still have this album very fresh from the oven. I mean, this was released early September 2023, and by the time this review is out, this album is still quite fresh from the oven. All the songs are in Finnish language, so like I said, you will have to understand Finnish to understand the mentality behind the band and also the lyrics. Now, this band has been criticized for being Islamophobic, meaning they're not just targeting Christianity with their lyrics and, being anti-Christian, anti-religious in the first place, but also anti-Islam. This also seems to be a kind of a hot cookie for a lot of people. The thing here is a lot of people are like, okay, Christianity criticizing is like so lame nowadays because it's like a toothless beast, whereas Islam is a whole different breed, and even a lot of feminist people who are like, hey, all right for feminist rights, except if you're like, I don't know, Islam, let's not touch the topic. Now, I don't care particularly about politics. I don't really care about left or right. It's just not interesting to me. There a-holes on both sides, so count me out from that discourse, that discussion, whatever. But it's worth mentioning that Sielunvihollinen is really poking on the rider wing of topics, and for some people this might be the deal breaker, not going for this album. I'm saying this as a disclaimer, like if you don't like that perspective, maybe this band is not for you. Then again, it's worth mentioning, however, this is not purely political band. I mean, this is not your next door National Socialist band, nor your next door RAC band. It's given that this band taking the melodies and all that stuff is like giving a wink of an eye to Finnish Schlager music. So there are lots of parts where this is like taking to 90s, 70s or 80s with a lot of those melodies. So there's a kind of a Finnish soft rock parts here and there. However, in the very core, this is very, very typical black metal band coming from the Nordic countries. Yes, it's targeting religions, not only Christianity but beyond, but at the same time, the melodies, the lyrics, the vocal patterns, everything here is pointing towards a rather traditional take on black metal. The Nordic style, Finnish style, whatever you want to call it. So, I don't know, you need to do your own reading of the lyrics, maybe some interviews to figure out whether or not this is safe for you to touch or listen to. I cannot decide that for you. Like I said, for me, I'm kind of immune to politics. No matter if you call me too right-wing or too left-wing or wingless, in the beginning, I don't really give a damn. I like good tunes when I hear them, and I like the production. I like their raspy vocals here with their little bit screaminess on them, and I like how well balanced this album is. It doesn't have a weak link at all. I mean, the songs are catchy, they're melodic, they're kind of a cheesy, but now over the top cheesy. Where it comes to the melodies, I am actually enjoying. And on top of that, 40 minutes, 8 tracks, which means none of these songs, well, basically, are not too lengthy. It doesn't certainly feel like, for example, this track number 7 lasting more than 7 minutes. It doesn't really sound like, hey, this band is tapping and keeping repeating way too much, because it feels so well balanced overall. So I'm saying this is definitely one of my favorite bands from Finnish black metal scene nowadays, and this album is, in my opinion, one of the best ones from the black metal scene this year, along with Marduk, Terrestrial Hospice, and, well, some others. So it's gonna be interesting how Sielunvihollinen keeps going, how long they keep, having this momentum of making catchy, melodic black metal Finnish ways. That being said, if the kitchen is way too hot for you, stay out of the black metal kitchen. Focus on the genres which are more safe space. But if you are just not giving a damn, or if you actually like the sense of danger and being religious, being criticized, this is right there for you. Now, off you go. Enjoy it or don't. I don't really care. But I hope you get to give this band a chance, and I hope you will like it. Rauta out. Bye bye.